Hey folks, if you like what I'm putting out here on Geekdom 101 and want to hear my thoughts on other aspects of geek culture like video games, TV shows, movies, pro wrestling, and more, check out my second channel, World of Geekdom. I will leave a link down below for you to check that out. I thank you and I hope you enjoy it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with another article to possibly debunk, but it is one to think about. CBR is known for putting together garbage, and it's just like Screen Rant. They just make these articles without really a lot of thought put into them. But you'd be surprised. Some of them are actually not that bad. They usually range between being absolutely atrocious and filled with BS to being kind of interesting. So today I'm going to look at this one right here. It says 10 things Bardock would be doing if he were still alive. Now, it doesn't necessarily state, like it says here, what would happen if it was brought back to life. So it's not like they're doing like, what if Bardock never died? That's not what they're doing here. It's what would Bardock do? Not Goku. What would Bardock do if he were brought back to life? And of course, the first question I have is, when would he be brought back to life? Would it be during the Dragon Ball Z era, when Goku really didn't know anything about him? Would it be after the Granola arc, now that Goku knows that he helped Granola's mom and everything in chapter 77? Would it be before any of that? It doesn't specify, right? So I think the idea here is it's more so a look at Bardock's character to see what he would do. Obviously, when it comes to Bardock's character, there's two different Bardocks. There's the original Bardock from Dragon Ball Z, the TV special from October of 1990. Then there's Dragon Ball minus Bardock that we saw in Dragon Ball Super Broly and in the Granola arc. The Toriyama one is the minus one, which I did a whole video about. You're going to see it right up there in just a moment, that you got to check out, called The History of Toriyama's Bardocks. We go through the whole thing, why Toriyama retconned him and all that stuff. But which Bardock is it? We'll analyze both here on this video. So let's go ahead and take a look at this list and see if it's garbage or not. The first entry here is he collected Dragon Balls and revived Planet Vegeta. Possibly. Bardock never really hated the Saiyans, nor was he super righteous like Goku. He was definitely more righteous than, at least especially the minus Bardock, than, the other Saiyans were. But this is a possibility that he would at some point care enough to bring them back, maybe to bring back his wife, which I think would be the major thing. So unlike Vegeta, who really doesn't care, I think Bardock cares a lot more than Vegeta does. Number 9, he settled his grudge against Frieza. I could see that happening. I feel like Bardock would have to train tremendously to get strong enough to be Frieza. In the original Bardock story, the one from 1990, the Bardock, the Father of Goku TV special, he had a power level of 10,000. Frieza's in the millions, so forget it. So Bardock would have to really take some serious training, maybe follow the path of Goku in order to even come close to beating Frieza. And when it comes to Golden Frieza, buddy, you got even more work to do. So I could see him doing that, though. 8, he'd spend time with his grandchildren and extended family. Well, again, it depends on when he got brought back. I think that the Toriyama Bardock would definitely want to get to know Kakarot and Gohan and Pan and Goten, but the original Bardock probably wouldn't care as much until he got the future visions. So it's difficult to say, but I do think that even though Goku has no connection to Bardock, especially the Toriyama one, would probably want to get to know his family a little bit, at least a little bit. So far, the article's not totally terrible. Number 7, he contributes to humanitarian efforts on Planet Cereal. That's an interesting one because we just found out, like it even says here, the Dragon Ball Super's manga dropped a bombshell revelation about Bardock being involved with the cereals and the Salyans and the heaters and all that. That's a possibility because one thing we do not know is we don't know how many situations like this Bardock was involved in. What if Bardock actually was benevolent during other Saiyan missions? What if he spared other civilizations from complete genocide? This guy might have a whole track record of seemingly working for Frieza while also doing shady things behind Frieza's back because he doesn't like Frieza. There's a lot of possibilities here, y'all. And I could see Bardock doing this. I feel like Bardock being alive, he would at least be able to tell Granola, hey, before the Namekian did, Monaito, tell Granola, hey, buddy, the heaters are bad. So, yeah, I mean, I could see that being a possibility. Now, this one's a bit weird. He trained in the hyperbolic time chamber. That's only if Bardock knew what it was. Bardock has no idea about what the room of spirit and time is, so unless he learns by meeting Mr. Popo and Kami and Goku possibly, if he does get brought back in Super, I assume Goku would put him there, and that's where he would train to prepare against his fight with Frieza. But we gotta remember, at this point in the series, Frieza's already got Golden form, so I feel like Bardock catching up to Frieza at this point would take years. See what I'm saying? So, Room of Spirit and Time is the best place to go to make years only be days, right? I still am skeptical if he'd be able to win that fight. Number 5, he'd become a member of the Galactic Patrol. Disagreed. I don't think Bardock cares about them. I don't think he would care at all. I just don't see him being that kind of guy. I mean, maybe, but he's benevolent, but I don't see him joining up with that group. 4, he'd visit Universe 6 of Saiyans on planet Sadala. I don't know. There's nothing in Bardock's character to where he would do that unless, and it even says here, considering the tragedy that Bardock experienced during the destruction of planet Vegeta, it could be quite cathartic for him to visit his other Saiyan world and return to some normalcy. If he doesn't resurrect planet Vegeta, I could see a situation where he does want to go to planet Sadala, but we've all wanted Dragon Ball to go to planet Sadala now for what, years? So obviously if Bardock is back, he would want to go to check out the actual original planet of the Saiyans. Remember, there is a Universe 7 planet Sadala, and the Saiyans left it to go to planet Plant, and that became planet Vegeta. People forget that. This would be the original planet Sadala with the Saiyans that evolved beyond having a tail, so it would be a different experience for him, and really a big point in him learning more about them. So that's a gray area for me. 3, he learned new techniques on planet Yardrat. Only if he were determined to fight Frieza or somebody like that. I don't really know if he would. I don't think Bardock ever mentioned planet Yardrat, although based on the fact that Frieza's army knew about the planet, I feel like Bardock may have had a brief on it at some point. So yeah, it is possible for sure that Bardock would go there. I don't know. I feel like if Bardock knew instant transmission, like it says right here, instantaneous movement, that would be helpful. I mean, it's a very useful technique, and also force spirit fission as well. So it's possible. It's part of the training. Same thing with the Room of Spirit and Time, right? It all kind of goes together. He'd experiment with fusion. I don't know if Bardock would really care too much about that. He seems like somebody who would really fight on his own. The only guy that Bardock would probably fuse with would be Goku. Now that they're both adults, and then they'd fuse and make somebody who looks like Goku, like Bardock. So again, there's no hints here from the character of Bardock that he'd want to do this. This article is just written to list different things that he could do to get stronger, which is all true, but we know all this already. We know about, I mean, he could say, number 1, I haven't even read it yet. It could say train with Whis and Beerus. Yeah, that's going to make you stronger. Right? Everybody wants to do that. He could officially become a Super Saiyan. I mean, I feel like he would have to become a Super Saiyan in order to fight Frieza at the very least, and probably go beyond that. It says here the episode of Bardock messes with canon and turns Bardock into a Super Saiyan. It doesn't mess with canon. It was a alternate timeline what if story created by Naho Oishi, not Toriyama, about Bardock's fate. It's another one of those. But it's true that if Bardock did stick around and train with Goku and Vegeta, of course he would achieve Super Saiyan at some point. If Goten and Trunks could do it, absolutely Bardock could do it. And that goes back to all the training they talked about. So really, this article should be like 10 things Bardock could do to get stronger. Even though they're not all about that, because some of it's about him visiting different planets and whatnot, and, you know, getting to know his family. Yes, I do think that Toriyama's Bardock would be more interested in that. And hell, even Dragon Ball Z's Kozo Morishita, his Bardock, the Dragon Ball Z Bardock would care, but probably not as much as the one from the Toriyama wrote. So what do you think? Do you think Bardock would actually do these things? I would personally love it if there was a video game that did like a what if scenario and brought Bardock back to life in the Granola arc or in Super, and have him kind of be there and see how he would react to things. He wouldn't be super strong, but he could get there. He could get there with training, because Goku proved if you are a low-class Saiyan, if you train hard enough and work hard enough, you can overcome even a super elite. And that is a lesson for all of you at home. Overcome a super elite right now. Hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. I hope you liked the video, and I look forward to talking to you guys more this weekend, and more videos to come here on Geekdom 101. I love you. Take care of yourself and each other.